Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, there's an old saying, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up. We'll be talking to the great Anthony Raimo. He is an entrepreneur and incredible speaker, and he's going to share his journey of resilience next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
All right, any entrepreneur who tells you that they are an overnight success is lying. It takes many years to get it right, and so many entrepreneurs will have to fail a few times before they get it right. To talk about resilience and the importance of that in your company, Anthony Raimo is in the studio. He's an incredible entrepreneur and speaker, and my friend. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's start at the beginning, because you were telling me before the show that you had a rough childhood.
100%. Yeah. I grew up born and raised in Bronx, New York, to a divorced family. My parents got divorced when I was very, very young, maybe like 1 or 2. Really don't remember exactly when. Grew up around emotional, mental, and physical abuse. Grew up around drug abuse. And from that, seen a lot of things. I've been through a lot of trauma throughout my life from my parents and just my family. And then, from that, I've had to dig myself out of that. I've had to dig myself out of the poor mindset, both literally, in finances and then the way you look at life. And yes, it's helped me develop myself into the young man that I am today to build the businesses that I've built.
Well, I love that. And I think there is something of a victim mentality in America that people say, man, if only there was a different president, if only there was a different economy, if only I had a different set of parents. You can't listen to that noise.
No. You were dealt the cards you were dealt, and you have to make the best of your situation. And that's what I aim to do with everything that I'm facing in life, whether it's now or whether it was 10, 20, 25 years ago,
Yes.
So
we're going to pull up your Instagram page, because you do a lot of stuff. I know you do a lot of speaking, and you're out there really preaching to the choir, telling people that they gotta pick themselves up by their bootstraps. But you also are a very successful entrepreneur, and that didn't come without some setbacks.
100%. I dropped out of school back in 2020, college. I went to St. John's University in Queens, and I was studying, and I was partying as well, and I ended up leaving that year with, I believe it was a 1.3 GPA. And from that, I really realized, I was like, this isn't for me. 1, I'm partying, I'm wasting time. 2, I'm not going to put in effort because I didn't want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant. I knew I didn't want to go to the traditional route. So from there, dropped out, and I've had to, figure it out. I self-educated, YouTube University, books, everything like that. Yes. And I failed 3 businesses before the 2 that I have are currently successful.
Well, one of your businesses, we have some video. You have a renovation company.
Yes.
Why don't you talk about what makes you different? Why did this one take off?
Yeah, so this took off because I really started to build a community around myself. And I pour into my community. I pour into my community by building strong relationships and actually providing a quality product with trust behind it. And they know that the person they're doing business with, they can trust. Not a lot of brands do that. A lot of brands, they'll scale themselves, they'll get very big, but they'll lose that connection to the consumer, to their client. And I focus strongly on having that connection. And everything I do is just about building relationships and connection with people.
And no entrepreneur does it on his or her own. So talk about your team. I mean, the people that are working with you, they're hard workers.
100%. My crew is amazing. I give my all to them because without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So whenever I bring my crew on, I'm very, very grateful. every job, get them lunch, take care of them, you know.
Yes.
I'm a good boss, but on top of that, I built structure around myself so that I could lead my crew, you know, the right way.
Yes.
And
And you delegate because you're here in my studio right now. You're probably not thinking about how's it going on the job.
I have 9 units I'm working on right now.
That's
over
incredible.
in Stamford, Connecticut, and I'm very comfortable and not anxious, thankfully.
Yeah. So do you elevate some of your employees to management, or how do you manage 9 different projects?
Yeah, so I have my project manager, which thankfully, God bless, my father and I have been building a great relationship together over the past couple of years, and we've been working on our relationship tremendously, and it's allowed me to entrust him with that project manager position. And my father was also a union carpenter, so thankfully I learned the trade from him.
Yes.
And I took the trade, I started my business, and his knowledge, I can trust that he's leading the guys and managing the job properly.
Isn't it wonderful when you get a happy email or phone call from a happy client praising you about work that you personally didn't do?
100%. I know. I like that feeling, but I also can't take credit. So whenever I get that email, I always pat my guys on the back.
That's
you
awesome.
know? I have to. I got to give my flowers where they're due and when they're due.
Yes. I urge you to follow him on all his platforms because he gives away the gold. He gives great tips. We found a YouTube tip. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Work on being 1% better every day. You don't have to be perfect. If you're starting a business, if you're starting on going to the gym, try your best to not get caught up on what's happening next. Be in the moment, focus on the now, and focus on being the best version of yourself in that moment. Focus on being 1% better every day. You're not thinking forward in the sense of 1% better every day. In this current moment, how can I be 1% better than I was yesterday? If you can be that and you could do that, it doesn't matter what you're doing in life, doesn't matter what you're trying to build, you will see growth.
Well, and I love that philosophy, just getting 1% better. You do that every day, and you've really got something. And then there are setbacks in any business. I mean, I'm sure weather plays a role in your company. If you've got the job and suddenly you've got 3 days of rain, it might be difficult to get that job completed at,
Yeah, absolutely, on time and accordingly, especially when it comes to like more exterior work. Yes, timing is everything, weather is everything. But in general, outside of business, life, you're going to be dealt a lot of problems. You're going to plan one way and then 2 other things are going to happen and it's going to throw you off your course. And you just got to be able to adapt, able to pivot. I think that's the biggest thing as an entrepreneur is learning to pivot. Yes. And being able to and knowing when to pivot.
We have about 2 minutes left, so I want you to look into the camera on the left and talk to that entrepreneur out there who is fearful, because fear is, to me, one of the most evil emotions, because you can wallow in fear about something that may never happen.
100%. All right, so if you're young, if you're hustling, it doesn't matter if you're old or young, really. If you're hustling to build something great for yourself, the way you're going to do that is by controlling your mind. From there, you got to really dig deep, reflect upon yourself, find your insecurities, crush that ego that you have, learn to be more humble, and from there, focus on your faith, if you have one, focus on discipline around that, and then watch everything fall into place, build meaningful relationships, take that fear that you have. And I have a saying, and my friend Dylan reminded me of it before, is that when you get that sense of that sense of fear, just jump. That's when you have to do it.
Wow. What a great way to end this show. We're also going to leave you with his Instagram page. We'll put that on the camera so that you can start following him, the great Anthony Raimo. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.